In May 1989, a somber announcement reached British viewers as The Benny Hill Show, a comedy television staple spanning 3 decades, abruptly ceased airing on Thames Television. Despite its long-standing popularity, Thames decisively terminated the production, citing dwindling ratings and financial constraints as the rationale. This decision elicited frustration from the audience but failed to rescue the beloved show. In a more tragic turn-off events, associates of Hill contend that the cancellation expedited the demise of the comedic legend Benny Hill. For a comprehensive understanding of the fate that befell The Benny Hill Show, please watch this video until the end to get the answer. The Benny Hill Show, a British comedy television program, starred the iconic Benny Hill and enjoyed a remarkable run from January 15, 1955 to May 1, 1989, gracing both the BBC and ITV platforms from 1969 onwards. Characterized by a diverse range of sketches, the show became synonymous with slapstick comedy, mime, parody, and cleverly woven double entendre. Its pinnacle was marked by a massive viewership surge, reaching over 21 million audiences in 1971, solidifying its status as one of the most watched programs in the UK. Benny Hill's creative contributions to the show were recognized with a BAFTA Television Award for Best Writer in 1972, and he further earned a nomination for the BAFTA for Best Entertainment Performance, underscoring his multifaceted talents. As the late 1970s unfolded, the Thames Television iteration of the show found resonance across the Atlantic, gaining a dedicated following in the United States. This American success culminated in the show running in syndication until 1991. The show's international acclaim continued with Emmy Award nominations for Outstanding Variety in 1980 and 1981, and Benny Hill himself received a prestigious Rose d'Or in 1984. However, despite its illustrious history, Thames Television took the unexpected step of canceling the show in 1989. The decision was driven by a combination of factors, including a decline in ratings and soaring production costs, with each episode costing a staggering $450,000, equivalent to $191,000 in 2021. This cancellation marked the end of an era for a show that had not only captured the hearts of British audiences, but had also made a significant impact internationally. Even years after its conclusion, The Benny Hill Show continued to resonate with viewers. In a 2015 UK poll, the show's theme song claimed the top spot on the ITV special, The Sound of ITV, the nation's favorite theme tune. Reflecting the enduring affection audiences held for this iconic program and its memorable musical composition. Amusement and contention, The Benny Hill Show, a legendary variety show that graced television screens from the 1950s to the 1990s, remains an iconic example of slapstick comedy, blending influences from American burlesque and silent films. Benny Hill, the creator and star of the show, brought a unique blend of humor, unexpected antics, and clever use of the film medium to create a timeless entertainment experience. The show was a delightful mix of slapstick comedy and risque humor, with every episode promising the unexpected. Drawing inspiration from American burlesque, Hill infused the program with a healthy dose of sexual innuendo, often delivered with his trademark wit and charm. The comedic genius of Benny Hill was not limited to the stage. He utilized the power of the film medium to explore creative possibilities beyond the constraints of a live performance. One of Hill's innovative contributions to the show was his concept of live animation, using camera tricks. This allowed him to engage in comedic illusions, seamlessly playing multiple characters in the same sketch. The versatility of film allowed Hill to bring to life scenarios and characters that would have been impossible to execute on a traditional stage. Benny Hill showcased his talent for parody by lampooning both British and American celebrities. His sketches often featured humorous songs loaded with double entendres, adding an extra layer of entertainment for the audience. The clever use of wordplay and satire made his performances a delightful experience for viewers of all ages. However, perhaps the most enduring legacy of The Benny Hill Show lies in its iconic chase scenes set to the lively tune of Boots Randolph's yakety sax. Employing a technique known as undercranking, Hill accelerated the camera speed to create a Keystone Cops effect, infusing the chase scenes with a frenetic and comical energy. Unlike the typical police pursuit scenarios, Hill found himself being pursued by an angry mob of scantily clad women. These chase sequences became a hallmark of the show, with each pursuit escalating into a series of mishaps and misunderstandings, all brilliantly orchestrated to the whimsical melody of yakety sax. What led to the cancellation of The Benny Hill Show? The Benny Hill Show became one of the UK's most lucrative exports, largely attributed to its success in the United States. The show's popularity reached its zenith in 1977, when it garnered a staggering 21 million viewers in the UK. However, by 1989, the viewership had dwindled to less than 10 million per episode, signaling a decline in its once massive fan base. Benny Hill, sensing the pressure to revive the show's dwindling ratings, attempted to crank up its bawdiness levels in a desperate bid to recapture audience attention. Unfortunately, this strategic shift coincided with changing tastes among viewers, reflecting a broader shift in comedic preferences. The audience response seemed to echo a sentiment of oscillation between admiration and criticism. He's great. He's awful. He's great. He's awful. He's great. In May of 1989, the unexpected and abrupt end of an era came when Benny Hill was sacked by Thames Television's head of light entertainment, John Howard Davies. The decision was driven by a combination of factors, including declining viewership, escalating production costs, and the perception that Hill, in his 60s, was perhaps out of sync with the evolving cultural landscape. Davies expressed his rationale in candid terms to the Guardian newspaper, stating, "The show was past itself by date, and said Benny was all right when he was young, but when you're in your 60s, it's a slightly different matter to leer at a pretty girl." The firing came as a shock to Benny Hill, who was utterly devastated by the abrupt termination of a show that had been a significant part of his life and career. Thames Television replaced The Benny Hill Show with Rowan Atkinson's now iconic comedy series, Mr. Bean, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a new comedic chapter. Did The Benny Hill Show display misogyny? The Benny Hill Show, while celebrated for its comedic brilliance, faced significant criticism for its treatment of women both on and off the screen. Critics accused the series of perpetuating the objectification of women, and disturbing allegations of sexual harassment behind the scenes surfaced. Numerous actresses came forward with their stories, shedding light on the darker side of the beloved show. One of the most notable accusations came from dancer Nikki Keir, who claimed that during a rehearsal, Benny Hill had allegedly squeezed her breast too hard. This incident, along with similar accounts from other actresses, fueled the narrative that the atmosphere behind the scenes was not as lighthearted as the on-screen antics suggested. Former Page 3 girl Stephanie Martin and punk queen Hazel O'Connor also made disturbing claims, alleging that they were offered jobs in exchange for performing sexual favors. These allegations cast a shadow over the show and its creator, prompting a public response from Hill, who vehemently denied all accusations. The dancers on the show, collectively known as Hill's Angels, played a central role in many sketches. Notably, Jane Leaves, a member of Hill's Angels, would later achieve fame as Daphne in the hit TV series Frasier. Despite the accusations and controversies, several female cast members maintained that they were well treated on set, asserting that Hill regarded them as part of his extended family. Some dancers even considered him a father figure, emphasizing the positive relationships they had with him. Sue Upton, a close friend of Benny Hill and the leader of the troupe of dancers, defended the show against claims of misogyny. Upton, who played a crucial role in recruiting dancers for the show, denied that the working environment was inherently sexist. She argued that the sexy girls on the show were empowered and asserted it was the sexy girls that always came out on top. This perspective aimed to challenge the notion that the show was inherently demeaning to women. Why was Benny Hill's burial site excavated? Alfred Hawthorne Hill, known to the world as Benny Hill, had a fascinating journey that began in the British Army. Initially serving as a mechanic and truck driver, Hill's life took an unexpected turn when his commanding officer witnessed his comedic talents during a performance. Recognizing Hill's potential, he arranged for his transfer to the Combined Services Entertainment Division, a move that would set the stage for his illustrious career in comedy. In a nod to one of his comedic inspirations, Jack Benny, Alfred Hill adopted the stage name Benny, paying homage to the legendary American entertainer. This choice reflected Hill's respect and admiration for comedic excellence, and it set the stage for the creation of the iconic persona that would become synonymous with laughter and entertainment. The influences of other comedic legends, such as Laurel and Hardy and Charlie Chaplin, were also deeply ingrained in Hill's comedic style. These iconic figures left an indelible mark on his approach to humor, contributing to the unique blend of slapstick and wit that defined the Benny Hill Show. A poignant moment in Benny Hill's career occurred in 1991 when he was honored with the Charlie Chaplin Award. To his delight and surprise, Hill discovered that not only had he admired Chaplin, but the feeling was reciprocated. During the ceremony, Chaplin's son Eugene offered Hill a glimpse into his father's world, showing him Charlie Chaplin's study. To Benny's astonishment, the room contained an entire collection of taped shows, evidence that Chaplin himself had been an avid viewer of the Benny Hill Show. Eugene shared with Benny that his father regarded him as the greatest, a sentiment that undoubtedly left an indelible mark on the comedian, offering validation from one of the most revered figures in the history of comedy. Existence beyond television. Benny Hill, despite his status as an international television star, led an exceptionally private life that was marked by both personal quirks and professional dedication. While he achieved fame and success on screen, his off-screen existence was characterized by solitude, a lack of romantic success, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. In matters of the heart, Benny Hill faced repeated disappointments. Despite being surrounded by numerous close female friends, he experienced several setbacks in his quest for love. 3 different women reportedly rejected his marriage proposals, contributing to a narrative of romantic misfortune in his life. According to Dave Freeman, co-writer of the show and a personal friend, Hill's devotion to comedy was paramount. Comedy, Freeman noted, was his only mistress, and Benny spent the majority of his spare time engrossed in watching television and meticulously jotting down ideas for sketches. Benny Hill's perfectionism, a trait that permeated his professional life, also spilled into his personal interactions. While his dedication to his craft was admirable, it was acknowledged that this perfectionism made him less approachable or likable at times. Whether on vacation or in his everyday life, he maintained a relentless commitment to his work. Even during leisure moments, he would seize any available surface, including newspapers and shirt cardboard, to jot down ideas for sketches. He would then mail these ideas home, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to capturing creative inspiration wherever and whenever it struck. Despite accumulating substantial wealth throughout his career, with a reported net worth of nearly $10 million, Benny Hill lived a remarkably unostentatious lifestyle. He eschewed the trappings of wealth, never owning a home or an automobile. Instead, he occupied just one room in his rented 2-room flat. This room was sparsely furnished and devoid of personal touches, as he neither decorated it nor hung up any pictures. This modest and frugal approach to living reflected a simplicity that stood in stark contrast to the lavish lifestyles often associated with celebrities. When Michael encountered Benny after the Benny Hill show was terminated, Benny Hill's life took a downturn, and he transformed into a reclusive figure, immersing himself in a sedentary lifestyle. His health began to deteriorate rapidly, and in February 1992, he experienced a mild heart attack. Following this health scare, doctors recommended bypass surgery, but Hill declined the intervention. A week later, he received another grim diagnosis: kidney failure. Despite the severity of his condition, he chose not to undergo dialysis. During this challenging period, Benny Hill found an unexpected source of support and camaraderie in the form of a visit from none other than the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. While resting at London's Royal Brompton Hospital, Michael Jackson, a self-proclaimed fan, paid a visit to Hill. Jackson revealed that he had videotaped every episode of The Benny Hill Show and declared Hill his favorite comedian in the world. The two entertainment icons reportedly engaged in brainstorming sessions, discussing potential sketch ideas. One particularly notable concept involved undercranking the camera to make Benny dance faster than Michael, highlighting the potential for an extraordinary collaboration that sadly never came to fruition. Tragically, Benny Hill's health continued to decline, and he suffered a coronary thrombosis, leading to his untimely death 2 months after the meeting with Michael Jackson. The circumstances surrounding his passing were shrouded in further sadness. It took almost a week before Hill's body was discovered, with neighbors contacting his press agent, Dennis Kirkland, to report a concerning smell emanating from his flat. Kirkland took it upon himself to investigate, climbing the third-floor balcony and discovering Hill slumped over the couch. Describing the scene, Kirkland remarked, "And I could see him through the window and, he just looks, oh, so sad." The reclusive comedian's living space mirrored the complexities of his life. Among the household clutter were not only personal belongings, but also a cupboard filled with awards and a substantial stack of uncashed paychecks. A poignant reflection of Hill's private world, filled with both success and solitude. Benny Hill's passing marked the end of an era in comedy, leaving behind a legacy that continues to be remembered and celebrated by fans around the world. The comedy, controversy, and comparisons in retrospect. The comedic legacy of The Benny Hill Show has long been a subject of discussion and analysis, with varying perspectives on its humor and its treatment of gender dynamics. Justin Gray, among those critical of the show, asserted that its gags walked the line between sexism and outright misogyny. The accusation raises questions about the appropriateness of the show's content, particularly regarding its portrayal of women. However, it's worth noting that comedy, like any form of artistic expression, is often subjective and interpretations may vary.
Comparisons have been drawn between Benny Hill's style of humor and the antics of silent film star Harpo Marx, a member of the iconic Marx Brothers comedy team. Harpo, known for his mute character who communicated through physical comedy, engaged in playful and often flirtatious interactions with women in his performances. The reference to Harpo Marx suggests that the style of humor employed by Benny Hill may be seen in the context of broader comedic traditions, where physical comedy and interactions with the opposite sex were common elements. Jamal Lewis from the UK's Independent provided a contrasting viewpoint, suggesting that when evaluated against contemporary standards, Benny Hill's sketches might be perceived as tame to the point of quaintness. This perspective contextualizes the show within the societal norms and comedic sensibilities of its time, acknowledging that what was deemed acceptable or amusing in the past may not align with the expectations and sensitivities of the present. Hill shared another similarity with Chaplin. The aftermath of Benny Hill's passing was marred by a disturbing incident as his gravesite fell victim to desecration shortly after his death. Speculations arose that Benny, having left behind a will that bequeathed his estate to his deceased parents, might have been buried with his fortune. Sensationalized rumors fueled attempts by would-be thieves to plunder his gravesite, hoping to lay hands on a rumored buried treasure. However, their endeavors proved futile, as Benny Hill's final resting place remained undisturbed. To safeguard against further disturbances, Benny Hill's family took preventive measures. His estate, which initially faced complexities due to the absence of direct heirs, was eventually divided among his 7 nieces and nephews. In an effort to deter any future attempts at grave desecration, his burial site was secured with a protective railing and topped with a substantial stone slab. These measures aimed to preserve the sanctity of Benny Hill's resting place and put an end to the unsettling episodes that followed his death.
Despite facing criticism from some critics during his lifetime, The Benny Hill Show enjoyed unparalleled popularity, surpassing even the renowned Monty Python in its heyday. Benny Hill's contributions to the world of comedy were recognized with a BAFTA TV Award for Best Writer in 1972, a testament to his creative prowess and impact on the industry. The show's acclaim extended beyond the shores of the UK, as evidenced by primetime Emmy nominations in 1980 and 1981, solidifying its place in the international comedy landscape. The enduring legacy of Benny Hill is further underscored by the continued recognition of the show's iconic theme, Yakety Sax, voted as the #1 theme tune on the ITV special titled The Nation's Favorite Theme Tune. The lively and memorable composition has become synonymous with Benny Hill's comedic escapades. In a fitting tribute to Benny Hill's storied career, a musical based on his life and contributions to comedy premiered in London's West End in 2021. This theatrical production served as a celebration of Benny Hill's enduring influence, bringing his comedic genius to a new generation of audiences and solidifying his place in the annals of entertainment history. What do you think about the problems with the Benny Hill Show? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.